Hello guys, and welcome back to Refeel Yoga and the second part of my story with the Crohn disease.
In our last video, we talked about Clelia's diagnosis, the story of events that led up to her being diagnosed with Crohn's disease. And in this video, we're going to go deeper into the treatment and what she did to eventually deal with this diagnosis.
And remember guys that this is my story, my personal experience, that how I deal with this Crohn disease. We are no doctor, we are not here to give any medical advice, we are not here to discredit the medical system. We still, believe that is necessary, but, every time that I share this story, again, I see that there are some benefit come out. And it's something that can be done in a, complementary to what you are already doing with your symptom, with your sickness. So I hope that you take some inspiration and enjoy this story.
Yeah, so in the last video, we talked about Clelia's diagnosis with Crohn's disease. And the end result of that was that she was prescribed cortisone as well as a plethora of other medications that was intended to take for the life. No real cure and no real treatment of the disease, more just treating the symptom. One of the big problems in today's medical system is that this is the way it's working. It's only symptomatic treatments. So you have a headache, they give you a pill for a headache. You have a pain, they give you a painkiller. You have inflammation, they give you anti-inflammatory. And the problem with this form of treatment is that it's not actually going to the root cause of the disease, of the illness. And when you're just treating the symptom, it means that as soon as you stop to treat that symptom, it's going to come up again. If you have pain, some sort of chronic pain, and you take painkiller, it's okay, you stop to take painkiller, the pain is coming back.
And also guys, I can see clear how this system is working, because it's the most easy and fast way. If I have pain, you take a pill, it's done, finished. And we don't have the need or the necessity to go look why I had a headache or why I have pain in the toes, So this is the way how nowadays we are used to cure.
Because usually looking into the cause or where this is starting is a lengthy procedure. Instead of taking all this time to wonder, where did this pain in the belly come from? We just take something for our indigestion and forget about it.
So opposite for me, it was clear that the symptoms are a sign of something more deep, and with the understanding that the human body is a very intelligent system, I decide to look at the issue, at the problem, from an holistic approach.
So holistic means not looking only at one little piece, such as the symptom, but rather looking at the entire story around it. So we don't just look at the physical and look for one thing to fix. We look at the physical, but we also look at the emotions, and we also look at the mind, because all of these factor into what is causing this disease, whether it's a headache or inflammation or stress or high blood pressure. All of these are coming from not just one thing, but it's the way you treat your body, the type of emotions that you're carrying, your mindset, your lifestyle in general are all equating to this factor that comes as, what we can call a disease. Mm-hmm. So the holistic approach means to look at all of these simultaneously and try to actually cure the disease rather than just fix one little part of it. It's a big process, and this is the reason the medical system usually just looks at one symptom, because it's easy. To look at the whole picture, it takes some time. But you understood this was going to take some time.
So with this in the mind, for me at this point, it was very clear that I was needed to search for different information from different sources, and maybe find different specialists, from the therapist to the dietitian.
Yeah, and you were actually quite lucky to have an idea of where to look, because we had just in August? No,
in May or June. Yeah.
Anyway, before the big sickness, we did this long tantra retreat, 7 weeks, very intensive, where we did lots of shadow work. Remember, in our video, Is Kundalini Dangerous? We talk about the importance of shadow work.
The famous shadow work.
And in the midst of this shadow work, you had a lot of revelation of some childhood traumas that had been repressed. And those came up. So, going into this process of dealing with this sickness, she already knew that there was some things that she was not able to look at that could be manifesting as this sort of disease now.
Yeah, of course, and for me, after the first shock of what it was, then when I start to think about, for me, slowly, the piece of the puzzle will start to go, all together, exactly with the knowing that there was some trauma at the back. And this is how it was manifest, and now it's connected to something that maybe I didn't digest in the past. Start to work in this way where you connect all the event of the life in, flowing in some direction, in one direction. So since then, and of course also before, because we decide to do this kind of life, we always are willing to, deal with ourselves, to dig inside, to do this famous shadow work. So for me, this was another opportunity to work with myself and to go more deep, So since then, I start to work with regression. It was very helpful, the first thing that I did, and then with the psychodrama and family constellation. And this is the tools that it was very helpful for me. And remember that, again, what is working for me maybe is not working for you. And this path, it's a path made of try and fall down.
Of trial and error.
I got this one.
Yeah, exactly. What she mentioned here, the regression, the family constellation, the psychodrama, these are all different healing modalities, different forms of therapy and other things. And this is what worked for her, but it really took some time until you found the regression she found right away, but it took some time to find these other systems. And this path, this holistic approach, is really one of trial and error. In fact, we saw it's the same in the medical system, because they gave her this antibiotic. They said maybe it's cancer. Even the medical system is doing trial and error. So the holistic approach is no different. You need to try, you don't need to, but yes, you will need to try different things to see what's resonating with you, to see what's working, because just because it works for one person doesn't mean it will work for all. That's why there are so many different systems, because everything can be attacked or healed or nurtured from different angles.
Yeah, and also, again, maybe remember also what is working today, maybe it's not working tomorrow, because, maybe you are not ready to look at certain aspect of your life today, but maybe tomorrow, yes. So it's a constantly, moving, try and going and see and, and cry and laugh and it's going, and it's
an organic process.
It's an organic process. But what is important, guys, is that you find some kind of support, any kind of support that give the possibility to you to express yourself, to feel safe, and to have the possibility to dig inside, because, guys, the truth is that this world is a trauma. It's made of trauma. I mean, everybody in the world has some kind of big or small trauma. The way how we come in this world is a trauma. So it's not something bad. Then go and try to look at this trauma, to work with them, because I really believe in this shadow work, because it's the way to make the energy flow differently. We cannot cancel what is happens in the past, but we can decide to make this going in a certain way. And it's a long path. Sometimes most of the time it's painful. No, it's not everything flower and color and unicorns, but it's a decision, and it's true. We need courage. We need this moment of courage where we can say, okay, you know what? I go and I see what happens, because it can bring to us a moment of peace, a moment of truth, a connection with ourselves.
Yeah, it builds a lot of, it's character building as well, to be able to face your inner demons and face these challenges and accept all of the bad experiences that we've been through and actually work to heal. It is a very courageous path. In fact, yoga is sort of a path like this, and yoga is often referred to as the path of the warrior, because facing all of these things requires this determination. And actually was a lot of determination for you, because she had to change a lot of her diet. And you know how difficult it is for an Italian person to not eat so much. So you did all of this stuff on the emotional level, the regression, the psychodrama, the family constellation. If you're interested to learn about these modalities, we can do a talk on them at another time. We just briefly go over them because we have another topic for today. But after going through these to treat the emotional level, you did a lot at the physical level. So let's talk a little bit about your diet.
Okay, so again, we just see that the emotional level was kind of, going naturally, because I had this big insight and I started immediately to work with these, the therapist and this and that. The second big step for sure was exactly the diet, because of course the Crohn disease, it's attack the digestive system. So of course for me it was very logical to go to the diet. And also, actually, I really believe that we are what we eat. So I really believe that the alimentation is something very important in our life. We need to take care. So already before, we was trying to do, vegetarian diet and try to don't eat too much crappy food. What you call crappy? Anyway, junk food. These kind of things. So, but in this case, I was really needed to find the perfect food, or a kind of, use the food like a cure, a little bit, a medicine, because I was need to go away of this extremely pain, because I was still in pain and go to the toilet many times. And again, of course, also here it's the way of many attempt, and it's not only one solution for everybody. Take time, and for me, I find my perfect formula using information from Ayurveda, macrobiotic, and Berrino, that is an Italian doctor.
Yeah, you were quite lucky actually, because when we got back to Thailand in Copenhagen, we had a friend there. She's actually a medical doctor, or trained as a medical doctor, but also into yoga and the holistic medicine. And we met with her, and she gave Clelia some really good advice about this macrobiotic, about this Berrino. Her name is Anne-Sophie. Her and another friend of ours run Samrasa Healing. They have their own YouTube channel. I'll leave a link down below. Really good for yoga therapy, really good for yoga for healing. So if you have any kind of questions about this sort of yoga, they're really good. I'll leave the link below for that.
Yeah, when I was looking for different specialists, I find Anne-Sophie in Thailand, so she was very, very helpful and give me many different information and insight to how to deal with this disease. So to go deep on the diet, the first things that I did, it was this amazing 10 days of cream of brown rice. Amazing, guys. And this comes from Berrina. We'll let the link down if you want to go and look how you use this. So it's overcooked brown rice.
Brown rice cooked with like 5 times as much water as you normally would. Overcooked and then ran through the passato, which is this device that they usually use to make tomato sauce. essentially what it's doing is it's creaming the rice and extracting the fiber.
Yeah.
So you just get this very soft cream, which is easy for the digestive system. Because at the time, if you had all of this fiber, it would have been very harsh with all your ulcers.
Yeah, because again, this moment I was in a very acute phase of the disease, and I was cut, so I was needed to really avoid completely any kind of fiber. And be careful, because here, if you will follow these diets, if you wanna try, they need to be this passato, because you really need to separate the fiber, because also if the fiber, I was thinking, in my ignorance, that if the fiber is small, I don't feel pain. It's not working like that, okay?
Don't use a blender, you need the passato.
Exactly.
Well, here's a picture of it.
And but what it was magic for me, because this band was magic, and what it gave me also a lot confident, in what I was doing, it was good, is that the second day of this amazing diet, and when I tell you 10 days of cream, brown rice cream, only this, nothing else, nothing else, only this. And is that the second day I start to a huge rush before start all around the colon and the belly here, huge one, and then it come on the arms, on the armpit, back of the leg, almost all the body. And this for me was the sign, like if this food, this cream, it was pushed out from the body, from the skin, that is our most extended organs, all the toxin, everything was inside, give me also inflammation, fire. So it was like going in fire, because it was really painful and itchy things, and it was very visible. It was this red, stain on the belly. It was, but for me it was okay. It's working, it's going. In fact, at the end of the 10 day, I was felt much better. Mm-hmm. After that, the idea was to go through 3 months of liquid diet with, again, overcooked vegetable, only some kind of vegetable, and again using this machine to take out the fiber for, again, the ultra intense. But because I was already feel good after these 10 days, I did only 1 month. Because at the end of the month, I was feel much better. So I started slowly, day by day, to implement more food on my diet, cook food always before. But it was very good for me, because I was eat one day, this soup
sort of,
that I know was okay, and then put one different element, and if it was make me feel pain, I was okay, this is that, and I was cancel from my diet. For example, in this process I discovered that spinach and cabbage also today are eliminated from my diet because are painful. Mm-hmm. But again, this also depends, because maybe for you it's not like that, so you need to try and find again the perfect formula.
Yeah, so it took her a lot of trial and error. Like we said, all of this is a trial and error. And especially coming back from a diet like this, you need to be very careful, because everything's very soft, everything's very open. But you will also be very pure, and you will be very aware of what is affecting you in which way, what's giving you energy, what's taking it away, what's pain. So this is a big part of the process, going from elimination diet to slowly re-adding. You mentioned spinach and cabbage, but there was a few other things that you had to take away, and that still you're not eating very often.
Yeah. And so one of the big things that I eliminate completely, and Sophia at the time was telling me, at least this forgot about for 2 years, and after that really a little here and there, and these are the Solanaceae.
Yeah, the Solanaceae, otherwise known as the nightshades, are a family of plants that include the potato, the tomato, the eggplant or aubergine, and the bell pepper or capsicum. Because all of these plants have been shown to release a compound that increases inflammation. So not only for the Crohn's disease, but if you have any other inflammatory disease or any sort of skin issues, it's really recommended to avoid these plants, at least until that clears up.
The Solanaceae I completely eliminate for 2 years, and now I eat, sometime a tomato. Or
She's Italian, you can't live without tomato.
A little bit potatoes. Actually, for example, the sweet potato are okay.
It's not Solanaceae. The sweet potato is something
just
different.
The normal potatoes. Okay, so I eliminate the Solanaceae. I eliminate completely the red meat, the alcohol, and the spicy food. And for me, this was very easy because already also before of that I was not take this kind of food. But it's important to avoid, at least when you are in a very moment of a big inflammation. And then the dairy. That this for me was a little bit more difficult, especially for the yogurt and ice cream. But today a little bit here has some time I eat Parmesan. I still eat sometime. And then what I implement in the diet very slow, it's all the raw foods and the fruits. Because be careful, raw fruit and fruits are, there are many idea that it's a very healthy way to eat, but if you suffer about some kind of inflammation in the, again, digestive system, they are kind of difficult to digest or aggressive, because of the fiber, because of what they create, the gas that they create in the belly. So the fruit was last things that I implement in my diet, and still today I eat with a lot awareness, raw food and fruits. There was some kind of food that opposite it was like magic, it's
like a medicine
food, yeah. And these list there are the aloe vera, the juice of aloe vera.
The aloe vera juice?
Yeah, that need to be very clean. So I suggest you eventually to buy, the bottle, because the leaf that you find around, you don't know where they come from, maybe pesticide, or don't take really care about it.
Take note, the real aloe vera juice, not the juice you find from 7-Eleven with pieces of aloe vera. It's not the same.
Also because the real one have that horrible taste. It's unbelievable.
It's a bit acid, it's very bitter.
Crazy, brutal. But drink this in the morning. It's you drink a shot like this, and it really creates some kind of film around all the digestive system, and it really help to create new skin. So especially if you have ulcera on the stomach or at the colon, it's very helpful in this way. And together with the malva. Malva is also this plant you can do infuse and drink during the day, because also malva have the same anti-inflammatory and emoliente, make soft the skin and the building back the skin. Then another amazing one, guys, is the turmeric. Turmeric this comes from Ayurveda.
Yeah, everything was with turmeric for a while. Everything in the kitchen was orange. Our fingers were orange. Everything was turmeric.
My teeth was orange. But turmeric, it's magic roots that.
It's a really strong anti-inflammatory. Maybe not strong. Really strong, but
no, it's very
effective.
Strong. It's very effective. You know what? Because I was because in Asia it's very easy, very cheap to find the raw. But when I was back to Italy, I had the pills, and in the the box of the pills is right. Don't mix with antibiotics or different things because it can interact. So it's very
strong.
No, it's very strong. It's very good, and it's natural. So the only thing is because it's working 100%, you need always to mix this with some kind of fat, so it can be oil or coconut milk. We can use milk.
A common recipe is the golden milk, which is where you cook turmeric with milk in India, or you can use the coconut milk. It's very nice. It's like a chai.
Yeah, and or you can try to with a little bit black pepper. It's the reaction is very strong also, but again, if you have some kind of inflammation, black pepper is not really good, so maybe use the oil instead of the pepper. But otherwise, if you use for some different, it can be used with the black pepper. And the last one is the boswellia. Also, this is a natural, it's a tree. And in India, they use the pills for the pain, the inflammation of the joint. Joints?
Yeah.
Especially if you do Astanga, you know about that because they take like a, mint. And but there are different studies that they demonstrate that it's work also for the inflammation of the digestive system. So this is for plants that they use like medicine.
I'll leave the list of all of these herbs that we've mentioned in the description below if you want to check them out yourself.
Yes. And last but not least, it's the magic Oshava diet number 7.
Yeah, this is a really powerful diet that she still uses today.
Yeah, I'm cooking brown rice at the moment just to...
but we're not going to go into it now because we're going to create a whole video on this diet because it's been so beneficial in both of our lives. So that will be the third part of this series, the video on the Oshava diet number 7.
Because this Oshava diet number 7 that is based on brown rice, it's a diet to clean the body and can be used from everybody. In fact, also Andrew did a couple of times with me, also if he was not sick, and with big results.
Yeah, very powerful.
We still use, once in a while to detox our body.
Yeah, it's a nice alternative to maybe like a fasting detox or something. But like I said, we're going to talk about that in another video. Aside from affecting the digestive system, Crohn's disease is what's known as an autoimmune disease, which is essentially the immune system is attacking itself. And this is often caused by an overactive sympathetic nervous system. The sympathetic nervous system is the heating, the active part of the nervous system, or the fight or flight reaction. So on some level, the body or the nervous system is under some sort of stress and it wants to fight. And in this case, in Clelia's case, it manifested as her body fighting itself and creating this inflammatory response. So in order to go against this overactive sympathetic nervous system, she needed to do a lot of work to strengthen the parasympathetic nervous system, which is the cooling, the relaxing, or the rest and digest part of the nervous system. So you had a bit of a practice that you did to train this part of your being, and what was that looking like?
Yeah, so again, because we already saw the first step was the emotional level, now, then the second was the diet, and then at the mental level, was needed to create again this state of where I was feel safe, where I was don't feel this stress and tension at the back, and most of the time, be careful because we are not aware about that. This is a bit the problem of our society nowadays, that we are constantly stressed, constantly, in this state of tension.
Activity, running on this sympathetic nervous system.
Yeah, and this is what created this, inflammation. So, for the first part of this process, for a couple of months, I completely eliminate all the very dynamic yoga. So, no vinyasa flow, no Astanga, no Kundalini, nothing of that. Actually, I eventually eliminate any kind of physical exercise.
It was really rest and digest.
Yeah, I did tons of sleep, and I was really literally eat and sleep for hours and hours. And the only practice at the physical level that I was keep it was a bit of cat-cow pose, very gently, to stretch and make the blood move on the belly. Very gently Pavana Muktasana to again
where you hug the knees into the chest
to release the gas. It's very known for that. And Vajrasana, that is the only pose that we can take after any meal, and in this case it suggests also if you can it in this position, because the pressure that we apply to the leg will help the blood to go in the area of the belly, so really help the digestive system, to the work that need to be done. Or if it's too painful, because for us it's very painful, after meal, 3 to 5 minutes, it's really a healthy habit to take it, because it's really help again the digestive system. And the last pose that I was use is the in the evening before bed, the leg on the wall. So you lie down on the bed, maybe you put a pillow on your back and you keep the leg up on the wall for at least 5 to 10 minutes, for the same reason, because the blood from the leg will go down on the belly, and he have also really high property of calm down the brain and make you more, peace and calm. And this can be done in a different level, because there are only the physical part, but there are a full meditation that you can do and a full practice that you can do, that I think, and you already suggest to some of you a couple of times.
I'm gonna make a video on it at one point, because
yeah.
this can be a very powerful practice for releasing a lot of things.
This was the asana part, the physical part. Then I was doing a lot of yoga nidra, that is a kind of very deep meditation, really nice, and for me was one of the really helpful tools that I had. And maybe we will do a video about that in the time. Maybe we'll add the link for the book there if you want to look at. And pranayama, of course. Pranayama was doing a very gently and soft nadi sodhana. And also here we did a video about that, I think.
We'll link the video here.
And a little bit of square pranayama. Also, all this practice very gently, because I know this is my problem. I'm very strong with my practice, so I was needed to learn how to do all this very gently, take care about myself, don't push too much. So really, go and in this light way of practice.
To go into the parasympathetic nervous system, instead of fighting all the time, was to learn to rest.
Surrender. And also here, the last but not least is meditation, of course. Meditation and a lot of visualization. I was really visualized to really, heal my body, and this was also, very helpful.
Throughout our history, meditation has always been proven to have so many benefits, and now that the scientific method has got an interest, there's countless studies on meditation, on visualization, and especially when it comes to healing and illness. There have been studies that show that meditation can actually restructure your DNA and fight off things that you might be predisposed to. Visualization, or the placebo effect, has been proven to be more effective than a lot of medicines. So this is developing this awareness, developing the ability to observe your mind, observe your thoughts, observe your emotions. Just has a ripple effect throughout all of your life.
Great, so we are arriving the end of this story, this long story, and I know that this is a very kind of long process for the life. And honestly, there are times when I talk with the people that are ask me about that, and I can really see in the face, in the eyes, but you know what, I don't have the time to do this, it's so long, and this and that, and I know it's a long process, but how many times we need to decide, we need courage to go through that, because this can be seen in many aspects of our life. How many times we are doing things that we don't like it, maybe our job, maybe we don't, because we don't have the courage to change, we don't know what will happen, and all this let us stay stuck in this unhealthy situation, when again you need some kind of courage. For sure, you need to decide to be willing to work with yourself, And like we just seen on this story, it's very important find support and go through this shadow work and do something with your diet. Also, if you are not in the the Crohn disease situation, diet is really important in our life. It's what we eat. We are.
You are what you eat.
We exactly, and of course, this is. Where we base our life. Yoga meditation can be very helpful if you don't want to really approach yoga meditation mindful or this kind of awareness, cultivate this awareness around our being in the environment, in everything we do, because everything is connected. And if you work here, you work outside, and there is a famous Buddhist thought that if you want to change the world outside, you need to change before yourself. And this is again, work with yourself. And this will bring an amazing improvement of your life. And this is the essence. Again, after 3 years, I'm healthy, I'm good, I have again a lot of energy around, I'm doing almost everything. My diet is complete for what I believe is healthy for me. And I am enjoying the life.
Yeah, I just remembered we said we were going to show them the results of your PCR test. So I'm going to put them on the screen now. And this was the number that she started at, and this was after how long?
Almost 1 year. So the first test, between the two tests is 1 year in the middle, and actually because I did the exam with the same doctor, when I did the second one, she didn't believe me because the number is still a little bit high of the normal, but she told me that the people before reach this kind of result take years, so it's already a really, really good result. And I'm sure that if I will do today the exam, it will be maybe a little, or again back to normal, So it was crazy how she didn't believe that. She
the doctor's like, no, but what did you take?
Yeah,
come on, tell me what you took.
Yeah, and then we have a great discussion, because she asked me what you did, this and that, because sometimes it's not that we wanna again go against the medical system. Actually, in Italy, I know that there are some private place where they are treated this symptom in this way, where you have access to different specialists that they are looking at the problem again from a 360 degree, but unfortunately they are private, so expensive, and of course it's still less instead of
it's not fully holistic, because again there is no specialist in holistic approach. But think about it, even the doctor said you should not have recovered this much in this amount of time. So while it is a big job to take this holistic approach, and it is a lot of work and a big investment of time, apparently it's still more efficient than what the doctor was trying to prescribe to you.
Yeah, at least I don't need to take pills now. I still be careful to some kind of food and exercise. Exactly, for example, now I feel we change climate, we change place because we are in Canada, so we move from 40 degrees to minus 40.
Come on, -2 right now.
Okay, it's dry everywhere. So my colon, it's a little bit sensitive. So now I'm doing the rice diet. I'm cooking the rice.
Now. She takes it as little treatment, like once in a while.
This awareness that we create inside to make connect with ourselves, with our truth, and this is the base and the secret of yoga, the union with our real self.
So thank you so much for joining us, guys, and listening to the story. I hope you enjoyed. Maybe you took some insight. If anything resonated with you, let us know in the comments below. If you have any more questions or things you'd like clarified, we're really happy to hear. We know that a lot of people are going through similar situations, and if we can help in any way, we're more than happy to.
Yes, please reach me if you want to have more information, or just if you are curious and you like to hear my voice. Ciao guys, thank you, and
Namaste.
Remember to share, like and subscribe.